the gas gauge that's in here doesn't work. So I'm gonna try to figure out what's going on with it. So we have the fuel tank and the sending unit, and then we have this speedometer is right here, and this part on the top is the fuel gauge that bolts onto the back of the speedometer. So step one is going to be figure out how in the world does it come out of there. And it looks like it has a bolt on each side that I could take off. So I'll start by disconnecting the speedometer cable. I'll get that out of the way. That'll hold me up a little bit if it's in the way. Alright. So then we have wires going to different things here. A quick diagram here of what I'm looking at. I got my speedometer. Yep. And I have my let's see. Have my fuel gauge at the top. Alright, I should be able to get it out of there. Alright, let's have a look at this. I got my speedometer out, and I want to check it out, see what's going on with this fuel gauge in there. And as I'm looking at it, I don't even think there's a needle on the fuel gauge. So I'm going to take this apart. I got this new one. Let's see. Thing we're going to do is try to take the sending unit out of the tank so we can see, is it working, is it changing the gauge. So unplug it just like that. This thing should be able to come off of here. One to here, one to here. We're gonna see what we get on our meter. So that should be empty. So right.
So I can justify why. Has the video from the VIP section on the top balcony. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's bad. Alright, I got it back together, and I found two bad bulbs. So I'll leave these out, and I'll try to find some new ones and replace them. What I decided to do was all the ones that were good I put back in the spots that belonged to something, except I left these out for the backlight, you know, the dash lights. So I'm not driving that at nighttime anyway. So for right now, I'll put the sockets back in there, and I'll leave these bulbs out and find new ones. So I'm about ready to put it back together, I imagine, and we'll stick it back in there, see what we can do with her, see if she looks all right and fits back in okay. All right. Now we're at the point where we need to get a new one of those. That's where we're at now. We got our new fuel gauge sending unit. We got it from rockauto.com, and this is it. And it came with a new seal to put on there. So we're going to go ahead and put that on, see if we can get the fuel gauge to work. old unit. Go ahead and get rid of that O-ring. There we go. Nothing. Still not working. I'm wondering if there's something wrong with this box. Right. Bypass it. Go right to this. Let's see what happens. Definitely making a difference. I'll show you. So the needle's moved up. Yep, and it's going back down when I turn the key off. Key on. It starts moving right back up. And the fuel gauge is now working. So let's recap what we had to do. The first thing we had to do was we replaced that fuel gauge, which had a broken needle. And the second thing that we had to do was replace this sending unit, this guy here, because it was reading mega ohms instead of somewhere between 70 and 10 ohms. And we did that at the same time we replaced this broken O-ring seal. And we cleaned up the connections for the wires. And then the last thing that we're going to need to do is replace this thing. This is called a vibrator. I don't know if it's really needed or not. I would appreciate some feedback from you guys to let me know whether it's really needed or not. But I took it out of the system, plugged the little diode pack or whatever right into the fuel gauge, and it started working. And so right now when I turn the key on, I'm getting somewhere around a little bit over a quarter of a tank. And that may be right for what's in here. So my next step is to turn it on, let it sit for a few minutes, see the level, and then fill the gas tank all the way up where I know it's full. See where is it read at, and if I need to adjust it, I'll adjust that. They gave some instructions with the fuel gauge, and they have a couple little setting points in there, and it'll adjust the range that it sets at based on what the resistance of this unit is, if I need to, but I might not need to. So that wraps it up for the fuel gauge working again on Angie Bug. Please let me know if you see anything that's blatantly sticking out that is needed, and I will try to address that, or if you have any questions. If not, I'll see you on the next episode. Thank you very much for watching.